Hi and welcome. Many cyclists have problems with creaking bottom brackets or cranks, and this is what I do to eliminate and prevent that problem. I'm not saying that this is what you should do. I don't know if this is recommended by manufacturers. This is just what has worked for me over the past decades and what I'm still doing with satisfactory results. So let us begin. The whole point is that I will put mounting paste or anti-seize paste on all the interfaces, all the places where things are stuck to each other. That's the whole point, and I will show it now. So here we have these Ultegra cranks, and they have asymmetric holes for reasons that I might discuss in a separate video. Not a bad idea, and except that you have to buy compatible chainrings, you cannot use the old ones. But here we have this little notch, and that goes towards the crank, and the idea is that it will prevent the chain from dropping between the chainring and the crank and damaging stuff and getting stuck. Okay. Trying to not block the camera, so I'm looking for that thingy. That thingy goes here, and then it goes into the slots here. This design is done by this. Some have separate nuts and bolts, but here those are integrated into the chainring. So that's one part, and the other part is the smaller chainring that has asymmetrical things. Here is just flat, and here it has like a groove for the bolts to fit into. So that part goes towards the inside, towards the bicycle, and it has a small notch, here it is, that you should align with the crank. This is in this case, that's for reasons for better shifting the design, the shape of teeth and stuff. So this is how this will fit generally. And I've put it upside down, as you can see, despite having explained it. So yes, this looks better. So we have the notch here, and we have this little thingy, this little pin. That's how it should be. But I want to place some anti-seize paste before I put it all together. And so the first thing to do is to put some anti-seize onto the bolts. Or you can do that in the end, it doesn't matter, but I'll put anti-seize on every bolt, both on its threads and on the part like a lip here that will press against the material. Now let's see about the chainrings. So this chainring it will sit here, so we have these areas, and this front side will be lubricated, or anti-seize paste will be placed from the bolts. So I need to put some anti-seize paste here. And for this outer chainring, I will put some anti-seize paste on the area where it is mounted. So here and around this part, because it goes through here. So let's try to do that. Here, first take the crank and put some anti-seize in these interface areas. You can wipe off any excess, of course. It's mostly cosmetic if you leave anything extra, but this can make a big difference in terms of preventing that irritating squeaking, cracking and whatnot. So liberally applying it. You can get copper grease in most automotive stores and it will do the job perfectly fine. And this is sold in makeup stores, the silicone brush that works like a charm for this. Okay, so we got that covered, And now I just want to put some on this, on the outside, just to sleep better. So I'll try to smear some on the outside, and inner side will be lubricated by the bolts that I've already prepared. We're ready to go. Now let's get this inside, and let's see where is the little notch that we need, the little pin. It's there. So putting it in place, making sure it's nicely aligned. All right, now I need to hold it with one hand and to put this. So again, looking for the alignment mark, and here it is. So I'm holding it with my hand together, and I can put in the bolts, starting them very gently, just with my hand, so that I'm sure to not cross thread anything. Okay, now we can go a bit faster. I'm not tightening them, just getting them to bottom out, but no torque, no tightening whatsoever. This is just the starting phase, and these are the Torx 30 bolts. They are not using hex, which is a very good choice. So now I'll just use a bit of torque here, then on the opposite side, just a little bit, then again here, and on the opposite side. I'm not tightening it, and just very gently. And now I want to confirm that it's all aligned. It looks okay for now, so I can now go and further tighten it a bit, just by a few degrees, to feel it giving me some sort of resistance. But here I've set the torque wrench to very low torque. I just want to make sure that it works, to click it a few times. Okay. To make sure that the torque wrench is clicking and working, so that I don't strip any threads. Okay, it's now in warmed up position. So I want to gradually get to the desired torque. Now I will go make sure that it clicks. Okay. To not forget, when you're tightening, you should do it in a crisscross pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it gradually. And with these fancy new style modern cranks, depending on which anti-seize, or if you're using grease, which kind of grease you use, you can go with anywhere from 10 to 12 Newton meters. I suppose that when it's all nice, clean and lubricated, the 10 Newton meters should be good enough without you risking or stripping any threads. So if you have a feel for it, this is not super sensitive, but if you're not sure, use a decent quality torque wrench. And I have an article and a video about torque wrenches, so I won't bother you with that. But for when you get them not loose to some certain normal moderate tension, then use a torque wrench and make sure that it's all tight but not too tight, and that's it. Then you can just smear some grease on the axle and put some anti-seize on these splines and on the splines of the opposite side crank and its bolts. So that also makes a big difference to prevent any creaking or similar. And if they're still creaking, of course you should check bottom bracket, and if it's aligned, if the bearings are spinning smoothly and doing everything as it should. But this often does help, and more than once have I fixed problems where people tried the new bottom bracket and everything else, and it was just their chainring. So it works. That's the whole video. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.